Yo, it's your favorite chairman. I don't really have a plan, but I felt like I needed to do a video because World Cerebral Palsy Day is this Sunday. So I'm like, oh god, I gotta put out a video, but I didn't want to do my, the reading like I've been doing. I just wanted to, think of some advocacy stories and share some of my story, and hopefully it'll make people laugh and stuff if I can think of anything. I don't have a super plan, but here's me slightly failing as a disability advocate. So I've had cerebral palsy since birth, but luckily I was, until recently, able to get in the shower relatively easy, get out of bed, pee in the middle of the night, all that kind of stuff. And I would go to trivia and karaoke and all that stuff. And different things happen that I don't get out much anymore for various reasons. But I want to talk about advocacy and some of the, I promise there'll hopefully be some laughs or groans coming up. So here's some of my failed advocacy endeavors. I did win the Disability Advocate of the Year award for 2015, yeah. But so I got picked to represent the area I live for this disability conference like years back, and so I was so excited. Like, oh man, I can't believe I'm gonna be like hanging out with these. I'm gonna listen to these speeches. I'm gonna work with these people. Also tons of abstract art, and so we get there and for the it's not the opening day. It's I don't even know what you call it. It was like an informal town hall type thing in an auditorium. And so people were just airing their grievances, and they had this guy there, and he literally looked like he walked off the set of Duck Dynasty and fell out of a tree stand. He was very, very angry and dressed head to toe in camouflage. And he was like, I can't believe national parks only have 1 mile of accessible trail for wheelchairs. And I'm thinking, oh my god, I didn't know they could plow through nature. I thought, they couldn't blacktop that stuff or make it wheelchair accessible because you might kill an endangered shrew or something. That's so amazing that I have 1 mile of trail. Maybe I'll try to go to a state park and go, somebody can ride a bike slowly and we can hang out and have a picnic, and this guy's bitching about 1 mile and I'm excited. So, I'm assuming it's because the dude, wasn't born disabled and probably fell out of a tree stand and landed in his bear trap. So now he cares about disability issues and is bitter that he only has 1 mile for his wheelchair. Maybe if you cared about that stuff when you didn't need it, we'd be in a better place. But we're way better than we were, my brother. Way better. So anyway, and the other thing is, I went there and so I go to the first. I get ready to go to the. We stay at this fancy hotel in D.C., and I'm going to the first meeting, I guess you'd say. So we weren't staying at the hotel where the convention was because it was too crowded. So it was booked. So we had to stay at a hotel, a short bus ride. So we go there for the first day of the real kickoff or spaz off, and we there's a guy. I look, and the elevator has got a line 3 miles long because all these different wheelchairs and different ailments. And I look over and I go, hey, this is probably the only place in the world right now where I could commit a crime and not be immediately identified. That was my first thought, when I went to the official part of the conference. And then I ended up leaving because what happened was at the first thing they were preaching solidarity. So they had this young girl up there, and she was talking about, I think it was Michael Brown, and how, the Black Panthers stood up for the disabled people back in the, ADA, trying to make things accessible. Age, where were the disabled people when it came to supporting these issues? We really need solidarity. And I understand the sentiment. However, I got a little offended only because you're talking about a group of people, 86% of which don't work. Who even knows if they could get out of bed on their own? Transportation is a disaster, if you're disabled, because, there's 6 disabled cabs in my area, but, you've got to call them way in advance. There's disabled Ubers if you wait 3 to 5 years. But transportation is a giant issue. Also, 86% of disabled people don't work. I'm not narrow-minded enough to believe that bad things aren't happening, but some people that would be in solidarity, sometimes they can't. Even with myself, I was at a ADA event, and this girl was handing out a flyer trying to get a disabled van, and she was my age, and I was thinking, man, why doesn't her parents just get her a van, or somebody, or a grandmother, or somebody? My buddy looked at me and he goes, some families aren't able to buy a disabled van even if you need it. And I'm like, I never thought of that, because I've always had one. Sometimes people, they don't, if stuff doesn't affect them, then they don't worry about it. I feel like we'd be better off as a country if we looked out for people a little more. And I know I'm guilty as well. But anyway, let me get some more quasi-jokes in here, because, like I said, I don't really have a plan here. But, so the next day of the convention, we're listening to, how report businesses if they don't have ramps, but don't do what they call drive-by lawsuits. And the guy had a really good talk, but after a while, my mind started to wander a little bit, and I looked over and I'm like, what is that hot mime doing over there? And then I was like, man, that mime is putting so much effort into this thing. Man, why do they have this mime distracting me? Good God, I almost want to get out some $1 bills. She's so attractive with all her movements. Then I realized, oh, it's the deaf interpreter lady. Oops, never mind. Sorry I handed you $1. You can give it back to me. Sorry. Anywho. And then, so, you meet different people at the luncheons and stuff. And I was, this is back when I was doing abstract art. And everybody handed me their card that had Braille on it. And I'm like, I should get Braille on my card. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Why would a blind person need abstract art? What a dope. Anyway, so then the other failures of me were that, we were always trying to raise money for the nonprofit I was on. And, they had this really stupid idea. They wanted to, I guess the head lady went to a wedding that had, a dollar dance. And she had this idea, she was going to have this girl with cerebral palsy dance with a guy, and they were going to pin dollars on her. I was thinking, that'll get the exact, if anybody shows up, that'll get the exact opposite of what you want. It'll just come across like a freak show. It's like she walks like Pinocchio before he became a real boy. What's she going to do? Get up there with her bucket and be like, I got no walker to hold me up. Please fill up my donation cup. I feel like a bell at the ball. Please give me money before I fall. I'm dancing here without a walker. Which one of you will become my creepy stalker? Yeah, I just don't think having a cerebral palsy person dance would be the thing that you want. It's just dude, it just comes across like a freak show. I mean, you might get some weirdo to give you some money, but yeah, nobody wants to see somebody that looks like a female Pinocchio dance around. You know, like, we gotta make sure she has her helmet on. Like, luckily, but I was too much of a, like, was to be like, hey, this is a friggin' stupid idea. Anywho, I know this is probably a little bit darker than my normal jokiness, but I just wanted to get something out for World Cerebral Palsy Day. A lot of stuff has been building up in my brain. It's just been frustrating for me, um, and I just they'll be back to I'll be back to more fun. Later. Hopefully you got some laughs. Me, and my issues with the I could commit crime here and all that. Um, but oh yeah, so I just want to make clear that I'm not anti solidarity or anything like that. I just think the way that the lady preached it was wrong because disabled people just transportation is just the most major of issue, and also finding good caregiver help. Maybe I'll just one day rant about all the various caregiver and craziness I've gone through over the years. But anyway, 11 minutes. Who knows? Nobody will probably watch this. Anywho, I don't have my PayPal's not working, and I don't know. Hopefully, somebody gets some usefulness out of this. Who knows? Peace.